just 'cause I love my podcast.
Working fans.
I shed blood for my podcast.
Ra-da-da.
Let a podcast holler. Where my podcast?
The pussy at.
All I want to hear is right here, my podcast.
Somebody say something about a podcast.
You won't take this from me, baby. You will not take this from me, baby.
Fans, welcome to the Working Fans Podcast Presents, aka Slippery Joe's Funhouse, where we bring you a bonus podcast each week presenting your favorite podcasts' favorite stuff. Now, we have some Tape Trader's Guide to the 90s coming up. We have some Cult in Connecticut. We'll be bringing you some Peter X. Morosky and a variety of other things through year 2. This is our 1-year anniversary. We are bringing you a bonus show. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Quickly as we can, we have a lot of people here today, so we'll apologize in advance if we don't get to everybody, but hopefully Simon's going to work the magic and get everybody in there. So, Simon, who are we going to go to first?
Okay, so first off, we've got Jerry from Sports Matters. So, Jerry, I'm going to bring you in. Just start your video when you come in, unmute yourself, and then ask your question.
Thank you, Simon. Appreciate it. Hiya, Tenille, those things. I just want to talk about back in the day with Lance Storm. Can you tell me how instrumental he was to your career and how much of an impact he had on you?
Starting with a good question. Josh, take notes. Lance Storm was such a huge part of my career and me getting to where I am today. Starting in Australia, wrestling seemed so far away, this big world of wrestling, and no one had kind of worked out how to break down that barrier to kind of make it in the scene. And I took it upon myself to move to Canada and train with Lance Storm. So he was the first person that gave me that professional training and that foundation. And then from there, I went on to obviously big things.
Definitely. And just last of all, Tenille, obviously there's a big match coming up. You're looking to make it 2-1. Is it fair to say you're going to challenge for the women's title straight after this, because it's well overdue in my opinion?
Well overdue, but I've already, yes, for starters, it is, that is I have a lot of things to do, but of course, Giona is in my sight, and, that championship, should I say, who knows who will have it by that time, but I've already beat Giona before, so I'm not really worried about that. It's more just when it's right for me, when it's the right time for me.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank you, Gary. Next up, we have Lee Walker coming in now.
Hey, how you doing? Am I on?
Hello.
Go ahead, Lee.
Oh, I can't even see myself. Tenille, there's been 54 reigns in the Women's Knockouts Championship, with 23 different knockouts holding the championship. Not to look past Jordan Grace this Saturday, but knowing those numbers, what do you think you're going to have to do in order to be number 24?
To become the 24th Knockouts champion? Was that your question?
Yes. What's it going to take to be the 24th Knockouts champion?
Have you seen me in the ring? Have you seen my career? I'm the most successful woman in the Knockouts division. I have the biggest following of anyone in the company. And not to mention my resume. So it kind of speaks for itself.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. Next up, we've got Gillian Cohen from Worldwide Sports Network.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? All right, awesome. So 5 weeks ago, you made your return to Impact on September 1st, coming off a couple months hiatus. What has kept you motivated the most upon your return to Impact?
Well, quite honestly, it was getting frustrating sitting back and listening to people like Fiona toot her own horn about how she's the best technical women's wrestler in the world, and it just got kind of old. So I thought it was time that I just came and took the spotlight back.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next up, we have Joey Carney from the Angle podcast.
Joey, you need to unmute.
How are you guys? Joey Carter here from the Angle podcast. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. I'm sorry for the background noise. Tenille, you've been involved with a variety of women's divisions in your career, bringing success, everywhere you've gone so far. And currently, to me, Knockouts division is a standout. What about this current Knockouts division intrigues you the most? And how do you plan on raising the bar while you're there?
First of all, how do I get a background like that? I should be having like a background that says all about me with like hands pointing at me like this. That's what I need. Can you guys write that note down for next time?
Write that down.
Write that down. Yeah, you're really not prepared for this, and I'm taking time out of my day. Okay, so there's a women's division. I've wrestled for the top companies around the world, and I've got to know a lot of people in a lot of divisions, and I will say that Impact is the best division currently, and I would say that it is quite obvious that the women there, they bust their ass. They love wrestling, and the passion oozes out of them when they're in the ring. I like a bit of competition, and I like people to pride themselves in what they do and be good at it, so that when I beat them, it just makes me look that much better.
Yes. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Louis from Wrestle Talk.
Hi, Tenille. Thank you very much for doing this. Obviously, you work for Impact now, and Impact's doing some great stuff at the moment. So for people that just watch, don't watch Impact Wrestling or have seen your work elsewhere, firstly, why should they tune into what you're doing? And secondly, why should they tune into what Impact Wrestling is putting out and the content that they're putting on? And then obviously, as we head into Bound for Glory next month.
Well, it's pretty clear that Impact is definitely with the times right now, and they've made some huge moves and big signings, and it's literally the show to watch right now, and mainly because of me. I'm on the show, so people would be silly not to tune in. I get messages literally every day. Come wrestle here. Why don't you wrestle here anymore? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you just watch Impact Wrestling and you get to see me there? You get to see me do my thing. That would be the smart move for everyone. And the show is just killing it right now. So why wouldn't you watch?
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks so much. Next up, guys, we have Brandon Turner from the King of Wrestling.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hey, thank you for doing this. I was just wondering, since you come back to Impact, and Impact has one of the best women's divisions, if not best, who are the top three opponents you're potentially returning?
That's a hard message to make out because you were cutting out. I think you're asking me who my top people I would want to wrestle would be?
Top three that you'd like to wrestle since coming back to Impact.
Good question. I could list maybe more than that because there's quite a few of the women in the Knockouts division I haven't even wrestled yet. So, it's a lot of exciting stuff to come. I will say Su Hyung is very intriguing to me, but she's literally crazy. So I might stay away from her for a while, but well, let's not say the obvious. Kylie Ray, I've never stepped in the ring with, and I know that people want to see that. So that is definitely one of the top ones. Jordan is kind of getting old at this point. Should have been done with her a week ago. And but if I could say someone else, I would say, well, of course, Deonna Purrazzo. But I've already beat her too, so the next time I face her, it'll be more fun because I already know I'm going to win.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing you and Kylie Ray for sure. That's one of my dream matches, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. Next up, we have Kristen Ashley.
Hi, sorry about that. Hi.
Hello.
We know you're very busy with Impact, but what's your status with the indie scene? Will we be seeing you at any indie shows soon?
Good question. I would say, unfortunately, with COVID, it makes things a little tough right now, especially outside of the US. So I would say if things become a little more normal again soon, whatever that normal will be, hopefully I will be doing independent shows outside of the US. And as always, I mean, everyone knows that I love my travels and I'm a world traveler, and you know, any place I can go and wrestle around the world, I will endeavor to do that. So as soon as I can, independent promotions outside of the US, get ready for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. And talking of around the world, we're now going to go to France for a question from our friend Stephanie from Steelchair magazine. Okay. Can sometimes take a little while for the connection.
I haven't got all day.
Simon, you better move on or you're going to be in the same category as Josh.
We're going to move on. Okay. So while we wait for Stephanie to come through, I'm going to go to Bill Pritchard from WrestleDome.com. Hey, Bill, if you can unmute yourself. Perfect.
Hello.
Go ahead, Bill.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You have to speak up a little bit.
Ross didn't say anything. Sorry about that. So, you had a dancing gimmick before. You had the Emelina gimmick before. So, you're adapt to, you know, creative challenges. And we've seen over the past few months and years, Impact have really, you know, other talent has come to Impact saying that they really give props to the people in charge now for giving them creative freedom. So since you already built your own character with the All About Me catchphrase and, you know, your personality, is there another deciding factor as far as what made you sign a contract with Impact for this current run that you're just starting?
There were many reasons why I signed a contract with Impact. Like I said, the women's division is literally on fire. They've made some big moves, smart moves as far as the wrestling industry goes. And other than me having things I still plan to do and prove and, you know, enjoy in wrestling, the Impact management made it very clear how important I was for their company. And it is so nice to be appreciated and respected and valued. And that, when it comes down to it, I want to work in a place with good people who have creative freedom, who are happy and positive about what they're doing, and in turn, deliver a good show.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. We now have Stephanie in with us. So, Stephanie, if you unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a little difficulties to connect, but I'm in. Hi, Tenille. Nice to talk to you. Hi, Dr. Ross. Hello. I had a question for you about the TNA fans that you were, Tenille. When you were in Australia and younger and training to become a wrestler, were you watching TNA? Were you a fan of it? Who were your favorite wrestlers, of course? And also, who would you, from this period of time, with so many comebacks over the last few months, and I wanted to know which knockouts you would make come back, if you could. Thank you.
What was the last part? Which knockouts? I didn't catch the last part there.
I think, which ones would you bring back to Impact?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, well, first off, of course, I watched Impact, and Impact's been around for a long, long time, and so have I. So I've definitely watched Impact over the years. If I could bring back someone from the past, well, I mean, not too long ago, but I would have loved to wrestle Gail Kim, and unfortunately don't know if that will ever happen, but if I get my way, maybe it will, and I do get my way quite often, so I might work on that actually. What was the other parts of your question? There was like a 4-part question. I get paid extra to answer all the parts of the questions, right?
Yeah, I was just asking you what the fan were, the wrestler you loved from TNA, and yeah, which fan of TNA you were?
Okay, well, I guess I've kind of addressed that with Gail Kim. Let's just go with that.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. Next we're going to Jim Barceloni from the Miami Herald.
I ain't gonna know.
Hello?
There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm still old school. Here we go. At least I have the audio going. Anyway, so Tenille, how has women's wrestling evolved since you started, and especially in Australia?
Wow. When I started wrestling in Australia, there were a few smaller independent companies over the different states. We're all kind of this, like a big wrestling community, and I'd say it's still the same these days. Wrestling for us over there, people think Australia is a small place, but we are on this island that's kind of far from everywhere else. So, to think of making it onto worldwide TV, wrestling for a major company, was kind of unheard of at that point. So I would say it kind of started with people, with myself being one of the first ones to venture out overseas to get the professional training. Like I said, with Lance Storm, he's one of the best people I've ever worked with and still a good friend of mine. And from there, I noticed people started to realize that what seemed impossible was actually possible. So, there was definitely women making the travels overseas, doing work with companies like Shimmer, and getting noticed in that sense. But if you look now to see how many of the Australians are signed to major promotions, it just goes to show that it's just leaps and bounds from what it ever used to be or what we ever thought was possible.
And lastly for me, Caleb with a K, is he even getting paid at least minimum wage?
Why is that any of your business what Caleb gets paid?
I think the guy deserves to get paid. I mean, he does such a good job.
He does a good job. Yes, of course he does. Of course I pay Caleb. Come on.
All right, very good. Thank you, Tenille.
Just get out of here.
Thanks, Jim. And
content that's more than just what you're doing inside the ring.
So I was wondering if you could talk just a little bit about why it's important to you to have that creative process, that creative outlet, and what sort of inspired you to jump online, make Taste of Tenille, and do the recipes, do the travel vlogging, do all that great stuff.
You're a smart man, for starters, because you have a good question and you've done your research. Yes, I was one of the first people to, for starters, use my real name in the wrestling industry, and then I went and ventured out to creating my own YouTube channel before this little craze that's happening right now. I've been doing it for years, and for many reasons, but I thought it was important to give back to the fans, to show my life outside of the wrestling ring, because obviously so much more goes into what I do as a performer than just turning up in the ring. So I wanted to share my outlook on my health and my fitness and things I enjoy doing, and especially now more than ever, I think it's really important to share my positive outlook on things, like my quotes that I use. I love sharing those with people because I often get messages back saying, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear today, or how much someone appreciates me sharing my journey and for instance, my skin condition I spoke publicly about on my YouTube channel, sharing healthy recipes, or even just kind of motivating people to go out and live their life to the fullest, because oftentimes people procrastinate. People talk about doing big things and don't. Or sometimes people just need a little kind of kick in the butt, to realize, hey, what's holding me back? Why am I not doing the things that make me happy? So I think it's really important to encourage people to go out and do those things, and the mental health side of it, to talk about things openly and to encourage people and be positive, and all of that ties back into my YouTube and why I share what I do with my fans.
Okay.
I will say I did just upload another travel video. My Jamaica trip is now online. It's youtube.com/Taste of Tenille.
Cool. And next we have Darren Pouchowitz, and I think Darren's from a website called The Hype.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
Okay, great. So, Tenille, besides yourself, who is the most underrated person on the Impact roster, and will we ever see a Taste of Tenille cookbook?
Ooh. I like how you said besides myself, because that's clearly going to be the answer.
Yeah.
Now I have to think about somebody else. Let me go with the cookbook question. Because it's hard for me to think outside of me, because it is all about me. The cookbook is a great question. I would love to have a cookbook one day. But I will say I'm also kind of focusing on the travel aspect of Taste of Tenille right now as well. So I am open to ideas. If you have people that want to contact me, they can reach out to my email. It is bombarded with requests, producers, everything right now. So I'm open to ideas, and I'm not against the cookbook by any means.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Cool. Thank you, Darren. Next up, we have Gary Cassidy from Inside the Ropes.
Hi Tenille, thank you so much for taking the time. So a lot of people have mentioned the Knockouts division, for me probably the best women's division in the world, but I want to ask, there's so many main eventers. Any other promotion in the world, you would be probably the one top person there. But at Impact, it's such a stacked roster. And just additionally to that, would you like to see the Knockouts Tag Team Championships return?
I don't know if we're going to be friends or not, because you kind of started by complimenting me, then went back into saying that I am not the focus or the best in this division. It's kind of confusing because I clearly am.
I would never say such a thing.
There is some good competition. You did mention their names, but it's still, this is the focus, right here. What was the next part of your question?
Would you like to see the Knockouts Tag Team Championships in Impact? And if so, who would you pick to be your tag team partner?
I would absolutely love to see that. I wouldn't really be part of it because I don't need a partner, or it's just solely me, But I'm happy for the other women to go after things like that while I go after the championship and to take that.
Definitely. Thank you for your time. Okay. Thanks, Gary. Next up, we've got Bison from Total Non-Stop Impact UK.
Hello, Tenille.
Hello.
Hi, it's Bison here from Total Non-Stop Impact UK. It's interesting because obviously you've not been around for several months now. We understand why with regards to the COVID-19 situation. However, over those few months, we have seen the Impact roster grow to such a stature. The Knockouts roster I'm talking about, grow to such a stature that you coming back the way that you did, do you not feel that maybe you were just sort of kind of in the forefront when you don't necessarily deserve it at this time?
Sorry, who let you on this call? Hello, Josh, Ross. Okay. So are you saying you don't think I deserve it, or?
I'm saying, obviously you think you deserve it, definitely, but you haven't been around for the past, 4 or 5 months, and we've got some incredible talents on the roster that currently have been putting in the work as showing off how incredible that they are. Surely they deserve maybe a little bit more of the spotlight than yourself at this time. Would you not agree?
Funny, you're a funny guy. I don't agree. I disagree with you strongly. I have been working actually a lot. My job is hard. Actually, I have more jobs than most of the women there because I, on the side, have photo shoots to do. I have headshots to shoot. I have video content to do. I have travels to do. I have not just been sitting around like you might think. And obviously, my resume in the wrestling ring speaks for itself. So, no, I do not agree with that. I do deserve the spotlight always, even if I wasn't doing anything. And coming off the first week back where I did main event the show, I also won. So I have earned my spot. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bison. Now we have we've got people around the world watching this on Facebook, and they've also sent in questions. And Ross has got one of those for you now.
Well, Tenille, this question was kind of just answered. There's a two-part question. It came from Cody. He wants to know if you had to pick a tag team partner from our roster, who would it be? And then he also wanted to know what has been the absolute highlight of your career?
I'm going to pick Caleb with a K, my tag team partner. And, there have been a number of highlights. For me, some of the best things were wrestling in different countries around the world. Because it's been part of my discovering my love and my passion for travel. And through that has come, so many collaborations, so many photo shoots, working with the resorts, all these crazy, amazing things that I'm doing. So I've definitely loved the travel aspect of my career. I would say the biggest highlight is yet to come because I'm yet to be a Knockouts champion. But time is ticking.
Perfect. That question came Facebook from LA. So we'll move on to the next media question. Simon, who we got?
We got Frank Mandaloni from the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast.
Hi, Tenille. Hi, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Tenille, you've been such a great advocate for psoriasis throughout the years. Can you just give a little tip to anybody, any athlete, any wrestler who has to deal with this kind of problem or skin condition?
Yeah. I I've actually done a YouTube show, a couple of YouTubes about this. So you just look up Taste of Tenille on YouTube. I've spoken with professionals on there. I've recommended books, Instagram pages, people that helped me in my journey. What I will say, if anything, one of the biggest takes from all the experiences I've had is to try not to medicate and mask or cover the problems you're having, but to try work out the why these things are happening and get to the root cause. And that for me is, and I believe for most people, is all to do with diet and the things we're putting in and around our surrounding, in our bodies and around in our environment. So it's so important to learn about what we're eating, and I can't stress it enough. I'm actually doing a course to become an integrative health practitioner. So I'll be a health coach soon enough, and in turn I can not only help myself but help my family, my friends, and hopefully my fan base as well, because I get so many questions about this and I would love to help people recover and heal.
That is great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Frank, for your excellent question. Next up, we have Vic to Villain from Hill Pops and Cheap Shots, or Chair Shots even. Well, Vic, if you can ask your question.
Yes. How you doing, Tenille? Thanks for the time today, guys. Appreciate it. Your career's been well documented, and your arrival at Impact has been very well received. What does a victory this Saturday over Jordan in such a marquee feature match do for your career, and what does it mean to you at this point?
I guess some people apparently don't think I've, earned my spot or coming back trying to take the spotlight, which is bizarre to me. But I guess that would cement the fact that I do deserve to be where I am. I already proved that in the main event where I won. So this will be the end of a very annoying chapter where Jordan Grace won't stop following me around and stalking me on social media. She clearly wants to follow in my footsteps with all the photo shoots she's doing and all the things she does, but I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of jealousy or whatever it is, but I'm kind of over it at this point. So I plan to kind of end things on Saturday in this now third match we're having, and then I can go on to bigger and better things, things that make me happy, which is the most important thing. So I'm really looking forward to that, like the championship, for instance.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Michael Cavanici.
Hi, Tenille. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. So I have a question for you. You've been wrestling now for 15 years. I mean, it's a long time, and you've had a great career. How do you, keep it fresh for yourself when it comes to, your moves in the ring, how you approach training and staying healthy? I mean, are you constantly trying to figure out ways to shake things up when it comes to your offense and your defense?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little girl. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. And I have watched it, studied it, performed, trained for, like you said, over 15 years actually now. Which is why I am a professional wrestler, why I am where I am, and why I have wrestled for the top companies around the world. I am constantly working on my look, trying to make sure that I'm in shape and healthy, more importantly, because some people look great but not necessarily healthy, so that is key. I think that a lot of that has input on how I perform and how I stay on top of my game and make sure I'm delivering. So I definitely do my research on my opponents, I watch the product, and I do what I need to do to make sure that I'm always the best.
Thank you.
Simon, you muted. Hey, how you guys doing? Ms. Dashwood, you've already faced Jordan Grace twice, and we're going on to the third. It was kind of answered in the previous question, but are you worried that your bag of tricks is now empty, or do you have more up your sleeve?
My bag of tricks is never empty. Come on. I kind of just answered all that. But, no, I'm not worried in the slightest because I am Tenille Dashwood. Jordan, well, I will say she is quite aggressive in the ring. She has tried to injure me a number of times now. I am obviously resilient. You know, I do a lot of chiropractic since last week, I will say, but I'm taking care of myself and my body, and I'm doing all the right things. And, you know, Jordan, while she is a great competitor and she gives me a run for my money, I'm not worried about this match. I've got it under control. I guess you can say I always have a plan.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Jeffrey. Next up, we have Jake from the Pro Wrestling Post.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Tenille, after Jordan Grace won the Knockouts Championship back in February, she did an interview with Pro Wrestling Post editor-in-chief Mark Madison. She actually listed your name as the biggest threat to the title upon your return. Now that you're back and healthy, is Jordan the perfect competitor to prepare you for your first Knockouts Championship run?
Yes, she is. And that's why I have been kicking her ass. But I will say she's very smart because she did mention me. She knows that I'm a threat. And that's why she has somehow managed to get herself a second match when she wasn't deserving of a second match. And like I said, now we're in this position where we have a third match coming up on Saturday. So she's a good, what do you call it, like a stepping stone, I guess, yes. I'm ready to be done with her and to move on to bigger things.
And with that second match, you did lose to her via chokehold. So what are you going to do in the third match to not make that happen again?
I'm sorry, there you're just cutting out a lot.
So I was saying that in the second match.
I can't seem to hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jake.
Very well.
Oh, no. Oh, we lost him.
Next up, we have Mike Gilbert from Combat Republic.
Hello, everybody. Tenille, my question is in regards to Bound for Glory. Deonna Purrazzo and Kylie Ray are scheduled to face off for the Knockouts Championship. Who do you see winning that fight, and who would you like to face for the championship after that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess I don't really care. They're both annoying in their own ways. So, but I will say I have beat Deonna, so maybe that's like the easier option. I haven't faced Kylie Ray. Obviously, I know I would win, but I haven't faced her in the ring before. So while it would be kind of like exciting, like a first-time matchup, Deonna is just maybe the easier route. I don't know. I'll see how I'm feeling at the time when it comes to it. But, well, really, whoever ends up with the title, that's who it's going to be anyway, whenever I'm ready. So it doesn't really bother me too much.
So you don't have a prediction for the winner of that match?
I'm going to go with Deonna.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. Next up, we have James from That 90s Wrestling Podcast.
James, come on, buddy. Oh, no. Hey, come on, James.
Oh, James, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, James.
Okay, while James tries to figure out his audio, I'm going to bring in Kevin from Putting You Over.
Can you guys hear me?
We can, Kevin.
Awesome. First of all, I want to say, Tenille, I'm sorry that Impact Wrestling is making you take on Jordan Grace again. You've already beaten her and proved yourself. But I'm a father of 3 daughters, the Daughters of Anarchy, and I can't think of anybody else that would be a better role model for them. So what advice do you have to give to young female, females that want to be wrestlers? And second part of the question, what should I cook them for dinner tonight?
I can't see a picture, but it's a great question. I really like you.
I even have sunglasses on. Oh,
it's great. It's great. I wish I could see a picture right now, but well, I'm flattered. First of all, that's very sweet, and say hi to your daughters for me. I guess what I would say is when I was young and had this dream of becoming a wrestler, it seemed so far away and impossible. But I never doubted my ability to make it possible. I didn't think about what could go wrong. I guess I just thought about what I wanted to do and I went after it. And I guess you could say things worked out pretty well. So if I could give some advice, it would be to, if you want something in life, go after it, give it your all, because it's what seems impossible can be possible in the end. And for me, that is crazy. I never pictured myself, after all I had been through, living in Australia, not knowing how to make it overseas, and dealing with my skin condition and all these issues I had growing up. I never pictured being in the position that I'm in now, but somehow it happened. So, and not somehow, I will say, with drive and determination and the desire to succeed, and a positive outlook on life. So that is really important, but just go after what you want to go after.
Well, thank you. Sorry my camera didn't work. I think it's working now.
It is working now. I love the shades. Although I don't have my custom Tenille Dashwood shades, but you can order them still, so it's fine.
Are they prescription? Because I need prescription ones.
Sure they are.
Thank you for your time.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kevin. James, do you want to give it a go, see if we can hear you? I don't think we're going to hear from James, but I'll make sure you ask first next time, James. We're going to go to Dean Connolly next.
Hi, Tenille.
Hello, Dean.
Two-part question for you. So, obviously, this Saturday at Victory Road, it's you against Jordan Grace. So, excuse me. So, what stipulation would you add into that match? And the second part is, Caleb Rivicari drops you into this match. So, if you lose at Victory Road, does that mean that you saying I've come up with Hell Have No Fury like a Tenille scorned will apply after the match?
Ooh, I like that. Well, that will definitely apply. We can already assume that. What kind of stipulation? Well, I say we should do like a photo shoot first, and whoever gets the most likes on social media actually can choose whether they want to have the match or not, and whether it's necessary. And of course, I'm going to win that because I have the biggest social media following, and we don't need to have this match because I already know that I'm better, and everyone else knows that. It's like Groundhog Day.
Cool. Thank you very much, Tenille. Next up, we're going to go to the Working Fans Wrestling Podcast.
Hello. Can we hear me? Let's see. Unmute. Hello. Can you hear me? All right. Awesome. Tenille, thanks for doing this. And my question is,
Obviously, fans are so important in the wrestling business and in the matches. And with no fans, how is that causing maybe some negatives and maybe even some positives when you're performing?
Well, it's definitely different with no fans, and I will say I love having the fans there because, I feed off that energy. But I will say as well, when I'm out there, when I'm in the ring, I'm in my own little world. It is literally all about me. So I don't necessarily realize when they're not there either.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'm going to bring Miranda in now. Miranda, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Unmute yourself, Miranda.
All right. Apologize for that. Thank you so much for your time, Tenille. The Knockouts division has been well known for their series of stipulation matches, anywhere from the 6 Sides of Steel to the Last Rites match, to most recently the first ever Knockouts Iron Man match. Is there a stipulation match that you would like to be a part of as part of the Knockouts division?
I mean, I don't... Do you think, let me ask you a question, do you think that these stipulation matches are a way for them to try and prove themselves? Is that what they're for? Because I don't need to prove myself, so I don't really need a stipulation.
That's very true. I think in those history cases, it's a way to prove yourself, but also it's a way to take advantage of the situation and also inflict more punishment on your opponent. Is that something that you're interested in?
That might be fun, actually, now you mention it. I guess that part would be all right, but I did have an idea just a second ago, about some kind of photo shoot or something. Maybe there's a new stipulation I can come up with. I'm going to have a think about that one. Yeah.
Yes.
So as far as, in the ring, I am one of the best women's professional wrestlers in the world, so I don't have to prove myself, and I certainly don't need to ruin my body and hurt myself in the process. So some things are a little silly in my opinion and not necessary.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miranda, thanks for your call. Tenille, I know you told me I had to have you done within 1 hour for the photo shoot, proper sunlighting. I totally respect that.
And I will need to get ready.
You got time for 3 more questions?
Make it quick.
Cool. So, okay, we're going to do a last true. I had so many people on the call tonight that if anyone I haven't got to, please just email me and Ross, and we can make sure you go first next time, because we just had too many people trying to ask tonight to try and get it all done, which is incredible. The next I'm going to go to Dane from Hooked on Wrestling.
Hi Tenille, thanks for your time. I think you are worthy of your current position on the card. So my question was, if over 15 years you've been performing, who would you say so far has been your kind of best rival, and how does Jordan Grace compare to them?
Well, I'm talking about my previous years, so what you mean?
Yes.
First of all, smart to make friends with me at the start of the call. And I would say some of my greatest rivals, well, we're talking back to my run, for instance, with NXT, I would say my greatest rival was Paige. And some of my matches I had that basically started the Women's Revolution were against her. So that for sure would be one. And I also really enjoyed, and I know the fans enjoyed, my rival with Asuka. And, one of my favorite matches and performances was NXT TakeOver in London. So, I mean, there's probably many more I could mention too. But coming to Impact, I knew that Jordan, although she is annoying, she is one of the best women's wrestlers that I've faced. So it's exciting and nice to have fresh competition and to know that they are one of the best that you're going up against. And like I said as well, one of the other people that I have never faced that I would like to is Kylie Ray. For the same reason. She's one of the best. Not just women, really, but performers and wrestlers in the world. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks, Tenille. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dane. Next up, we have Brad Marcus.
Brad, you have to unmute. There we go.
Hi, Tenille. Sorry about that. This is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies. I have a question for you. How has your life changed for the positive working for a company like Impact as opposed to the previous companies you've worked for outside of the ring?
How's my life changed outside of the ring?
Yes.
I guess the schedule suits me great because I'm able to do a lot more of my my social media, my travels and my photo shoots and all of those things that I love doing. My Taste of Tenille show on YouTube, it gives me a way better schedule for all of that. And a positive mindset, to be happy about what I'm doing and enjoy it and enjoy the people I'm working with. And
well, I think we just lost Tenille.
Well, thank you.
Well, I guess, Brad, maybe she didn't like your question. I thought it was a good question. I think we can wrap it up with that one. We only had one more question. Tenille, I thank you, even though you're not here. Media, I apologize for the little cutoff. I'm not sure what happened on that one. Next week, we're going to be talking tag team wrestling. And just a reminder, as Josh mentioned at the start of this call, confirmed for Bound for Glory, the tag team titles are on the line. A 4-team matchup with Motor City Machine Guns defending against Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, the Good Brothers, and the North. So next week we are going to be talking tag team wrestling right here on the Press Pass podcast. I appreciate your time very much. We will talk to you next week.
Awesome.
All right, so that wraps us up for this week. Thank you again for listening to the Working Fans Podcast. So as always, you can find us on Twitter at FansWorking. Our Facebook page is Working Fans Wrestling Pod. We have email where you can reach out to us and let us know what you think also. That's workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, workingfanswrestling_pod. And then as always, please continue to listen to us on Anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, all your major platforms. If you're following us on Apple Podcasts, which we are also on now, and YouTube, please make sure you subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. It helps us bring you these podcasts where we get to talk to you and talk with you every week.